Welcome to Hampshire Outdoors Survival. Today, a test of 2 stoves and 1 fire source. Is it a good fire source, is it not? So what I'm testing out is these eco-friendly fire logs, which says could possibly burn up to 2 hours. Could possibly burn up to 2 hours in an open stove. But today, I'm using both my Outbacker stove and my cheap Temu stove. 2 stoves, you say, Mick? 2 stoves? Blimey, what's the test? Well, the Temu stove is a lot. Mick, 2 stoves? Blimey, what's the test? Well, the Temu stove is a lot smaller. And a viewer, cheers mate, knows who he is, will remain anonymous, said to me, if I broke one of these into 4 this way, so it's a long strip, using the smaller stove, would it give off enough heat to boil water and keep me warm over a longer period than just lighting a solid one of these in this stove? So, in a perfect world, I'd have 2 stoves exactly the same. I don't. So what I'm going to do is use the long solid log in the Outback stove, and I'm going to split this into 4 in the Temu stove. So we'll have a go at that first, because these are quite soft. So I'm trying to... Oh, that's crumbled. So we'll mould that back into a sausage. And we'll mould that one back into a sausage. So we have basically 4 of those. Not particularly evenly crushed, but hey, there we go. And we have that solid log. And what we're going to do, we are going to boil in my pot here. It's 500 mils of water in this one, on this stove, and 500 mils of water on that one, on that stove. And the question is this: 1, can they boil the water to make a drink? 2, which one will last longer? 3, does it give off enough heat to make it a practical method? That's the questions we've got to ask ourselves today. So, what we come on and do, I'm going to light both of these using the recommended method. So, like that, according to the packaging. Place that down there. Place that down there. Make sure the drawer is open. Start with that one. Seems to be burning. Right, that's just burning. Start the timer. Right. So, it's going to be a length of burn and a type of burn test. Now, is that one actually going? See, this one is down here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shut the door. Well, you're going to see there's a difference in the pots. However, they're about the same thickness. They've got the same amount of water in. I expect that one to be slightly slower because obviously it's a taller, narrower pot. But again, this is just an experiment to see how we get on and to see how they do. We're already starting to get a little bit of heat off that one. And we're already starting to get a fair bit of heat off of that one. Temperature in this stove is climbing to, we're at 150 already, 150 degrees. We'll come back in 5 minutes to see how we're getting on. So obviously this is a more of a tent size stove, and I will say move away a little bit. It's throwing out an awesome amount of heat, as is that one. This one being a bit lower and square, a bit smaller, isn't going to overheat a tent. That one you want in a big tent, or if you're heating a room or a larger space. It's a great sturdy stove. This one, absolutely superb. Can't fault the construction. I like the glass door. It is a bonus having the glass door, being able to see how things are burning in there. A bit more difficult with that one. Yeah, overall, I hold them pretty much comparable. I think they're just as good as one another, just slightly different scales in size. The interesting thing is also going to be is by burning the log in quarters, bear in mind that is throwing out more than adequate heat. Am I going to get a longer burn out of it? So we're 12 minutes in. Let's have a look and see how we're doing. 12 minutes in. There's my log. That's the larger one in the Outbacker stove. There's the temperature gauge. We are just on 700 degrees. And as you can see, the water is just starting to bubble on the bottom, create a little bit of steam on the top. The smaller stove, the Temu stove. There we go. And how are we doing with the kettle? Yeah, I think we're pretty much comparable. 18 minutes in, let's have a look. That log's fully engulfed. The water is just starting to bubble. A little Temu stove with a quarter log in it. Yeah, that's nearly burnt out, I would say. I'm going to place another one in there with it. I have noticed over the last couple of minutes the temperature is starting to come down a little bit on the Temu stove. It's still throwing out heat, it will still warm your space, but I can hear the kettle slowing down on it. So this one is running at 700 degrees at the moment. And we'll give that a minute or two to do its thing and see where that was running. I feel the heat starting to come back up on that. Stop dropping now. So that's running 100 degrees cooler than that. Okay, that is running just a fraction under 600 degrees at the moment on the surface, which is, like I say, throwing out absolutely wonderful heat. So if you were warming a tent space, it would work absolutely brilliantly. Cooking on, it slowed it down. Now I've put some more fuel on there, it's starting to speed up a little bit. That one, I put the thermometer back on that, and it's not even towards the back at the hottest zone, and it accelerates straight up to 650, 700 degrees. We're at 700 already, so that is obviously burning hotter, but it's a larger log. Yeah, I really don't know how this is going to go, because I'm halfway through this log now, and I don't know how much is, well, I can't really tell what's left of that one there. So, 30 minutes in. Now that one's just simmering on the bottom there. that one, as you see, is at a good rolling boil. Interesting comparison. What have we got logs wise? Yeah, that one's looking like it's slowing down a little bit. And this one, yeah, it's broken up and it's still going, so I'm not going to put another one in there just yet. As you can see, I think that is the bonus of the glass door. I know I'm always saying to people I'm not a fan of glass doors or glass in the sides. I'm not, but in the door, yes, it's practical. Small panel glass like that, I can just visually check how the fire's going a lot easier than that. Just come back with that one. Yeah. So, coffee it is. So yeah, so that's 30 odd minutes in. So let's get a coffee. And these logs are half the size of the birch logs that I've tried a day or so ago. And so far, yeah, I'd say they're pretty much comparable. There you go. So I think, personally, the little stove one, I thought it wasn't going to. I thought the larger stove was going to boil the water even faster. However, yeah, good fuel management on this stove seems to have done the trick. Let's leave that on there. And again, one of the things I do like, although it's a smaller stove with these hangouts on the side, as you can see, being able to take the pot off the heat is a bonus. So that one we are down to 600 degrees. And that one, it's not moving. So running the same 600 degrees. Happy with that. So we're 40 minutes in, and I've put the third piece of split log onto the small stove to maintain temperature. I noticed that the temperature was starting to die off, so topped it up as you would in your tent or your camp. The other stove is still roaring away quite nicely on the big log, so I've got 1/4 left there. We'll see how it goes. See how it goes. So 1 hour in, exactly an hour in, I've just put the last log into that stove. That stove is not looking like it's got much more in it. Just in fairness, we'll try and knock a bit of ash off of it. Let's get a bit better airflow. Yeah. Realistically, if you look at the stove, I've just put that last piece in. There's not a lot left in there, so I'm going to leave it to run now until pretty much this one is out. That one, I can see the temperature is coming down on it. Yeah, the fuel source is now, it's running out of energy, whereas I've still got a log's worth in there. Yeah, it's the temperature coming straight back up. So this already is it's 1/4. Yeah, I suppose that works out pretty much 1/4 more fuel efficient on the smaller stove, using a little bit of common sense and a little bit of sensible management over what I got out of the larger stove. Now, that doesn't mean the larger stove is a bad stove. It's got a bigger cooking area. It threw out a higher temperature. That stove pretty much run at 700 degrees the whole way through. So if I'd had 2 logs on there or thrown in a bit of wood as well, I could have continued to set the temperature. This one ran at about 650 to 600 the whole time through. So it's about 100 degrees less. It was steady though, and it boiled the water sooner, okay, which was a bit of a surprise to me. And again, it appears, I'm quite shocked by it as well, because I didn't think it was going to be the case, that the, yeah, by breaking the logs into 4, not having such a high temperature, basically working out what I actually needed to boil water, warm the space I'm in, gave me 25% more time. That's got to work on it. I broke it into 4 and I've got 1/4 left when that one's burnt out. Yep, 25% more fuel efficiency by doing it that way on the small stove. I don't think it would have worked if I'd swapped them round. I think the trying to heat the larger area with the small pieces would have been probably a waste of energy. But yeah, there we go. What can I say? I'm going to let that one burn out. Then I'm going to just leave the timer running and see how long or what point that one burns out. Purely and simply as a bit of a test. So where are we now? We're at an hour and 5 minutes. Let's open them up so you can have a look. Yeah, it's an hour and 5 minutes in. Well, so there we have it, guys. Alright, the stove test. So what have we done? Right, so what I think, basically, this test just goes to show that you need to find the stove that fits the environment you want to heat. Okay, a big stove uses more fuel to heat the air in it and burn off, and will burn the fuel quicker. A smaller stove is more efficient fuel wise and gives off, yes, a fraction less heat. There was 100 degrees between the two of them. However, I am now, yeah, a further 15 minutes on from that going out, and that's still chucking out heat. That's still doing its job. That's ambient temperature is now down to 300 degrees, but if I stick the thermometer on that and give it a minute or two, it will come back up and I'll tell you what that's running at. So yeah, that's my test for today. What I'm going to do now though, I am going to go indoors, get myself another cup of coffee, and sit there and plan my edit for this video. I'll stick the time that this went out on the end of the text. So hope that's good information out there for those of you that might be looking at a stove for your bug out shelter, your cabin in the woods, your hot tent, whatever you're looking at doing. Okay, and this isn't me bashing big stoves. Big stoves are great, but you've got to look at the space you want to heat. If it's something like a hot tent, you probably don't need much more than that, or a small cabin. If it was a large cabin, obviously you're going to need that, or maybe even bigger. You're going to have to manage your fuel resources to your heat output. So it's a case of finding what you need, making it match, and making it work for you. Guys, hope you enjoyed the video. It's been a bit of a struggle to do. Been feeling a bit grotty today. Yeah, love those you do, forgive those you don't. And as always, peace and light be upon you all. This is Mickey, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Till next time, Mickey out.